There's not much I love more than walking into the kitchen and smelling something amazing. I just know there's some deliciousness coming my way. But recently, I stumbled across takes from a bunch of my favorite culinary gurus that basically boil down to the idea that smells are lost flavor, which made me question what I thought I knew about flavor. Could it really be possible that the better a food smells, the less good it tastes? This is Minute Food. To sniff out what's going on here, I spent a lot of time nosing around in the science of smell. And yeah, it is technically true that smell is lost flavor. And in some situations, this is a helpful way to think about smell. But, and I'm sure those culinary gurus would agree here, it isn't the only way you should be thinking about smell in order to maximize flavor. That's because the relationship between smell and flavor is really complicated. When we talk about the flavor of food, we're not just talking about what we can taste with our taste buds. We're also talking about aroma, compounds that we smell while we're eating, either directly through our noses or backwards through our mouths. Many common flavors that people think they're tasting, they're actually smelling. Scientists don't understand enough about how all this works to put an exact number on how much aroma contributes to the flavor of food, although experts do agree that it's a significant amount. But in order for these aroma compounds to reach our olfactory systems and contribute to flavor, they need to leave the food and go airborne, a process scientists call volatilization. But aroma compounds that volatilize too early, before you're actually sitting down to eat, can no longer be able to contribute to a food's flavor. And cooking, unfortunately, is a major source of volatilization. Not only does it raise a food's temperature, it also tends to generate additional motion. And all of this increases the likelihood of aroma compounds going airborne. That amazing smell you get when you cook is literally aroma molecules that are no longer in your food. This is what people are talking about when they invoke the idea that smells are lost flavor. And it follows that if you want to conserve the natural flavors in food, you should reduce how many aroma compounds volatilize during cooking. Like by cooking at a lower temperature, a simmer rather than a boil. Or by reducing motion, a conventional oven rather than an air fryer. Fewer aroma compounds lost to smell means more end up in the food. Although we are often talking like tiny amounts of these aroma compounds being lost to the air. The aroma compounds found in food are really potent. We can sense many of them at concentrations as low as a millionth of a gram per cubic meter of air. And in some cases, way lower than that. So just because you can smell an aroma compound doesn't necessarily mean that much of it has volatilized. And because aroma compounds are so potent, you can actually afford to lose a lot of them. One expert I talked to said that when it comes to many aroma compounds, the concentration in a food would have to be reduced by half before most people would be able to notice a reduction in the flavor. But even if smell isn't a perfect proxy for how much flavor you're losing through volatilization, there is still value in understanding that the nature of these volatile chemicals is, well, volatile. If you can smell a certain aroma, that means the concentration of the compound that produces that aroma is decreasing in your food. But at the same time, it's not a good idea to exclusively think of smells as lost flavor, which isn't what these culinary gurus are doing. But it is easy to extrapolate and fall into that trap. See, the flip side of this smell-flavor relationship is just as important, if not more important, to keep in mind. Smells can also be an indicator of extra flavor. There are a lot of changes that happen during cooking that can create or intensify flavor. The Maillard reaction generates hundreds of new aroma compounds. Cooking certain foods breaks them down, releasing flavor compounds that weren't previously accessible. Evaporating water concentrates the flavors in food. And the conditions that promote these flavor-generating processes, high temperatures and lots of evaporation from the food's surface, are the very same conditions that tend to volatilize aroma compounds and create smells. So if you're creating smells, you're creating flavor. But as we learned earlier, you're also losing flavor. Frustrating, right? There's this basic paradox in cooking, which is that it's really difficult to preserve flavor and create it at the same time. Sometimes that's not a problem. If you're mainly interested in a particular type of flavor, you can optimize your cooking method to get what you want. Quick, gentle cooking will preserve a food's fresh, delicate aroma compounds, while intense, high-heat cooking will generate new, toasty flavors. And there are some ways to get the best of both worlds, like adding fresh ingredients right before serving. One hack I love from America's Test Kitchen is that after simmering tomato sauce for a while and cooking off that fresh tomato flavor, you can throw some tomato leaves in at the end to re-up that particular aroma compound. But to make these kinds of clever cooking calls, you do need to understand the processes that create, maintain, and release flavor compounds, and generate smell along the way. So follow your nose, but don't stress out if your food smells really good. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. If you have 2 cents, the actual money kind, and want to do something really worthwhile with it this holiday season, check out GiveWell, the sponsor of this video. GiveWell provides rigorous, transparent research about the best giving opportunities out there. The charitable organizations that will take your 2 cents, or however much you're interested in donating, and save or improve the most lives. And they do all this without taking a cut of your money. Our channels have been working with GiveWell for years because we love their evidence-based approach. Each year, they spend over 50,000 hours poring over charities' track records, forecasts, and independent data to help donors like me make sure our money really makes a difference. You can find all their research and recommendations on their website. Check it out at givewell.org/minutefood. And if you've never donated to GiveWell's recommended charities, right now you can get your donation matched up to $100. To get your donation doubled, when you get to the "How did you hear about GiveWell?" question, make sure to click YouTube and then Minute Food. Again, that's givewell.org/minutefood to donate or find out more. Happy giving!